morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Modern Horizons 2 draft. So, there's the Underworld Cookbook, which I've not seen. I will be taking Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp. It's the legendary modular creature. I was hoping we would get a rare that would push me towards a different archetype, but this card seems pretty good. He's basically a sack outlet for any modular creature you may have. He can gain flying, super value 1-drop, so yeah, we'll be taking Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp. Pick 2 is Extruder, which is very good. I see a lot of artifact lands in this pack. It did auto-pick Ethereum Spinner, but I think Extruder in the modular deck is much stronger, so we'll be taking Extruder. It's also an uncommon, whereas Ethereum Spinner is a common. And for those of you who asked, I know that this is several... hang on, I don't have it in this view. I have to switch to the stream view for a moment so you can see. This is Porter trying to get me to play tug with a toy. But back to the draft. So if I'm making odd motions, that's what's happening. Okay, so there's another Extruder. I don't know if I want to. There's a Power Depot and a Sojourner's Companion for affinity purposes. Extruder is very powerful. So is Arcbound Tracker. I think I'm going to go with Power Depot, though, because it fixes for any color, as well as being an artifact we can sack with Modular. That is a non-creature artifact. So we'll take the Power Depot. It also can activate any of Zabaz's abilities. I guess my biggest concern at this point is that other people are going to be in our strategy because of how many cards we were passing that are played directly in our strategy. I'll definitely be taking Arcbound Mouser here. It is the best card for the modular deck in this pack by far. Out of Time, I don't think is going to be very good in limited. There might be an edge case that I'm not thinking of, but it's not going to be an aggressive deck anyway. I wonder if his pants are coming through on the microphone, because he's huffing and puffing. Yeah, it's outrageously warm right now. It's like 96 or 97. So I've been trying to exercise him indoors as much as possible, keeping him out of the heat, keeping him off the pavement. But he still, of course, will have to go outside and stuff like that. And it's just, he'll take 3 steps and turn around and be like, yeah, I'm done. Let's just go inside. It's funny. I think we're going to take Razortide Bridge here. The Jeskai colors are where the most artifact stuff is. We're not going to be making that many tokens, and we're probably not playing green, otherwise Combine Chrysalis could be very good. Lightning Spear is kind of nice, giving our creatures trample, but if it's generally like the modular with a couple of affinity subcards deck that tends to be the best, and that's focused in Jeskai, so we're going to take the fixing for Jeskai. And I've done this in a few of my other drafts too, where like, I apologize if you guys feel like I'm just drafting the same deck over and over again, but that's like, right now, that's what I'm being passed to play. So Junkwinder, we got wrecked by the other day. We have no token generation at all, otherwise I might take it. I'm going to take Silver Bluff Bridge here, because, like I said, Jeskai fixing, artifact lands are great. This deck basically can't have enough artifact lands, I've noticed. If you get the red removal spell that you can sack a mountain on your turn, you'll obviously want to play some number of mountains just to have the option to do that. But other than that, you occasionally will need an untap land, so you're going to want a couple of your main colors of basics. But you basically take as many of these artifacts as the draft allows. Okay, so in this pack, we could take Mistvault Bridge, Slagwitch Bridge, or Steelfin Whale. The whale does have affinity, and the effect is quite strong, but I think I'm going to take the red-green land? Actually, blue is slightly more important than red, I think. Is it? I'll take the red-green land. Trying to pre-plan a little bit. Red-white dual land. Seal of Removal we could play in a deck like this pretty easily. Now I'm seeing no modular payoffs. Batterbone? Nobody respects the Batterbone. Really? That is impressive. Yeah, I'm not taking Galvanic Relay. Fodder Tosser is for the Madness deck, not for the Artifact deck. And Phantasmal Dreadmaw is just too fragile in this format, so... I mean, it's technically an artifact, it's an equipment. We can't modular onto it, but it does count for affinity purposes. And lifelink in this format has been very, very strong. I'll take the Ethereum Spinner. We have enough lands at the moment that we're going to need to start taking playables. We'll take lands as opportunities arise for them, but we don't need to focus on picking lands or anything. I don't think I'd play Shatterstorm. I would much rather have the Mistvault Bridge. Shattered Ego is like somewhat playable, but I've seen this at the end of almost every single pack. In terms of like rounds of drafting, it's generally in the like last 3 or 4 picks that you see that card. Sanctuary Raptor or Hard Evidence. Sanctuary Raptor I'm going to take because it is the offensive card of the two. I wouldn't mind a Hard Evidence, but I'm not looking to draft that for this deck. We get a Combine Chrysalis, so we can sack the token off Batterbone to make a Beast. I'm going to take this because I don't think I'm playing Aeromoeba, but I don't think I'm playing Combine Chrysalis either. Okay, I'll take Junkwinder. I'm not going to play Glimmer Baron, and Echoing Return is not really playable. Alright, what do we got in this pack? We've got Territorial Kavu, which is a 2-mana... Oh, hang on. I actually have to look up if this card's expensive or not. I'm not above rare drafting this, because I'm not doing Phantom drafts. The cards can actually pay for whole drafts, depending on what it is. Okay, the card's not very expensive at all. Yeah, I'm going to take another Extruder here. I think it's just the best card for this deck in this pack. Territorial Kavu is better if we were playing actual numbers of basic lands with types, but we're not. So take the Extruder. Chef's Kiss sounds like fun. Lens Flare I really like. This is definitely going to be one of the decks that can take advantage of Lens Flare, especially with a thing like Ethereum Spinner. We'll be able to count the number of artifacts really easily. Counterspell is going to be 2 mana, or 2 color intensive. Unholy Heat is also good for this deck. Take Lens Flare. We do want more modular creatures. We'll basically be taking any modular creatures we can see. I think somebody who I was passing to is in this deck now, but we're way too deep into it to try and rotate into anything else. So we're just going to have to do our best with what we get. Alright, so it's a Sanctuary Raptor. Recalibrate's a good combat trick, but I think I'd rather have the Raptor. Tormod's Crypt Keeper wouldn't be bad either. Yeah, we're going to take the Raptor. Okay. In this pack, we've got the Bridge. Not a lot, really. Fodder Tosser. Whenever you discard a card, you may pay 1 and amass 2. That sounds like fun, but I don't think I'm going to be splashing black. I guess I could, possibly. And then if we get a Fodder Tosser, we have a discard outlet. But I think I'm going to take the land here. Somebody else is definitely in this strategy, so I have to be careful about what I'm doing. And I definitely will have to start picking creatures a lot higher. Like, I think I gotta take the Steelfin Whale. Vectus's Gloves is actually really strong. The correct choice is this Whale. I'm taking the Gloves, though. Fast and Furious is also tempting. Yeah, we're taking the Gloves. Okay, so Steel Dromedary is good for the modular, because we can move 1/1 counters around. It doesn't untap as long as it has 1/1 counters on it. Or I can take the Whale. I think I'm going to take the Whale because it synergizes with Ethereum Spinner a little bit better. I don't like Dromedary too much. I think this card's kind of a trap. Parcelmere works. Yeah, we're going to take Parcelmere because we need creatures. Let's see. Dress down. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. Is that card worth anything? It is a rare and a new one. Nope. It is not. I don't think I'm playing Greed. I think out of all of these, I would play the Manticore. I have a lot of red lands, and this card is actually good. Despite being an enchantment, it's actually kind of good in the artifact deck because you have a lot of artifact creatures. I'm definitely taking Crypt Keeper here because I need more creatures. Here's hoping we get some really good modular creatures in Pack 3. Sinister Starfish, Orchard Strider, Funnel Web Recluse, or Fodder Tosser. I mean, Fodder Tosser can give you some reach. Otherwise, I think I take Break Ties, actually. This card might be main deckable. It's 3 mana Naturalize, or 3 mana Snipe a card from the graveyard, and you can pay 1 mana to Reinforce, which if you're playing modular creatures kind of works. Although I'm at the end of Pack 2 and don't really have a lot of modular creatures. Prophetic Titan. I'm going to take the Prophetic Titan, just because I'm in red and blue. Guardian Kieran does work with the 1/1 counters. I don't think this is a Tavern Scoundrel deck. I'll take the creature because I kind of need creatures at this point. Storm God's Oracle is in my colors. I'll take a random Deepwood Denizen because that works with 1/1 counters, and we get a Fodder Tosser as our force. I see a lot of that card, like, every pack. It's in several packs that get opened, like, every round. Fodder Tosser, that is. Okay, give me, like, 2 Affinity cards and 3 modular creatures in this pack, and we'll call it good. Alright, final pack. We definitely have to take the Arcbound Tracker. Mishra's Factory, there's some consideration for, because if you can stack counters on it, it's kind of good. I already have 1 set of gloves. Marble Gargoyle is not as good as the Tracker here. Because the more modular creatures you have, the better the modular mechanic becomes. Because, like, your opponent, like, if you have 6 power on the board and your opponent kills 3 of it, you still have 6 power on the board. And it kind of becomes a situation where your opponent has to board wipe you in order to actually get rid of your the power and toughness you have laying around. Yeah, it's, like, less strategically used if it's not as spread out, but it's still pretty good. There's an Ornithopter of Paradise, which we can use to fix or ramp. There's Inevitable Betrayal. That card can't be worth anything, can it? It's worth a couple of tickets. We can get a Proliferate card in green, or a Ren's Run Hydra. I think I take the Ornithopter. It's another place to stick the 1/1 counters. It fixes for us. It ramps. Fractured Sanity. Oh, I love Fractured Sanity. It's currently worth nothing, so I'm not going to take it. I will take Mere Scrappling. Mere Scrappling helps a lot. Mind Collapse is pretty good, but Mere Scrappling fits way closer to the actual plan of this deck. So Ravenous Squirrel, we can play off of a few different lands. We'd have a hard time activating its ability. I kind of like taking Zurin Orb. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. This guy's also good, because we have a lot of non-token creatures. It's not unreasonable for us to splash green. This could give us the sustain we need, and it also will create some extra artifact tokens. That's probably better than Zurin Orb, to be honest. So we'll splash for that. Somebody's going to have a bunch of Fractured Sanities and make everybody else sad. I'm absolutely going to take Aethersworn Sphinx here. I'd love to have Arcbound Prototype or Steelfin Whale, but this is what I got to take. Because I don't think Gaia's Will is worth anything. Nope. So, Aethersworn Sphinx it is. There's our Affinity payoff. Because I did take a green creature, and because I do have, I have 23 playables, I'm going to take the Thornglint Bridge. Although Foundation Breaker is a fantastic card to have in your main deck. Yeah, I'm gonna take the fixing. A third Extruder or a Wave Sifter. Wave Sifter makes a bunch of artifact tokens which can turn on our Sanctuary Raptors. We do kind of have a reasonable amount of fixing to cast Wave Sifter. The problem is Power Depot does not tap for green. I could just take Dark Moss Bridge, because that does tap for green. Or I could take So Shiny, because I don't have that much removal. I'm gonna take Wave Sifter. That might be a trap. Sojourner's Companion, I think, is the best card for us in this pack. Arcbound Whelp is great, but this is going to be the easiest card in the world for us to cast, and it can fix for us if we need a particular color of mana. Alright, cards coming around. What do we got? Amoeba, Marble Gargoyle. I don't think I'd play 2 sets of Vectis Gloves, so I'm going to take the Gargoyle. I will take the green and blue fixing. Flourishing Strike is a pretty fantastic card, but we're playing almost all 5 colors of mana, so... I don't know what I take here. I really don't know what I take here. I guess I'll put a Jewel-Eyed Cobra on the side. I can take another Ornithopter of Paradise. Not particularly fond of that, but it does make it easier to cast our other stuff, so... The Steelfin Whale... I'm not playing 2 Break Ties, at least not in the main. I'll take the other Affinity creature. Sure. Terramorph into the side. And we get our bridge. Okay. So, if I'm playing green, I actually have, if I'm making clues and I'm playing green, I'm playing Combine Chrysalis. And depending on how many clues I can make, I might be able to play Junkwinder. So let's group creatures separately and take a look at what we're dealing with here. Okay. Out of all of these, I don't actually have that much white, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to get rid of the Mount Valus Minotaur because it's an enchantment and it's double red. Prophetic Titan, I think, is kind of lofty, although it is a really good kind of end game. I have 2 Ornithopters of Paradise. I'm going to try and make it work. I don't think I'm playing Parcelmere. Do I want to sideboard Break Ties? I think I'm going to leave it in the main deck. Oh man, just think if we could, like, play the Aethersworn Sphinx and cascade into, like, one of these 2 cards. That'd be awesome. Okay, I'm taking out Guardian Kirin and Storm God's Oracle, because they do not directly contribute to the game plan. And now I need to cut 1 more card. I think it's Marble Gargoyle. Okay, so let's put in every card that taps for any color relevant to us. So green and white, green and blue, red and green, blue and red, red and white and blue, any color. We don't have black, but we do have blue. So I guess that just means everything. Alright. Add basics. 2, 2, 1, and 1. Looks like we got ourselves a deck all over again. Oh, Junkwinder. I was going to play Junkwinder. Because we have Chrysalis, which makes tokens, Lannis, which makes tokens, Batterbone makes a token, Ethereum Spinner makes tokens, Wave Sifter makes tokens. What do I cut for that, then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 blue sources. 7, 8 if you count the Ornithopters. Maybe not. I'm going to try without it. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, so this hand is almost good. If we draw a single land, we can play our Ornithopters of Paradise. I think we mulligan, though. Oh, gosh. Not this again. Okay. This is reasonable. So we're going to put back the Ornithopter and the Extruder. And we're going to try it like this. We'll lead on Silver Bluff Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent leads on a mountain, playing a Dragon's Rage Channeler. We draw a forest. Do we take the turn off to play Batterbone? I don't think so. Play the Razortide Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays a tap land. That sucks. Alright, well. They kill the legendary we got. We untap. We draw Power Depot. Play Power Depot. Play Batterbone. Living Weapon. Opponent plays a Cabal Initiate. They attack. I'm actually going to trade here. We go back up to 20, we draw Prophetic Titan, play a Forest, play Arcbound Tracker. If we draw a land, we can then equip the Batterbone, and if we draw a land after that, we can play our Prophetic Titan. We can just about play all of our things that have Affinity if we draw any of them. Our opponent Madness, Terminal Agony. Well, this kind of sucks that they've had removal for both of the creatures we were able to play. They're going to hit us for 2 with Lifelink. Alright, we untap. We draw Combine Chrysalis, which we will play, but we have no tokens with which to destroy. Opponent plays a Timeless Witness. They get to pick up, I guess, Terminal Agony to keep the way clear. Oh, they're picking up the Dragon's Rage Channeler. They play it. They're going to hit us for 2. Take 2, go to 16. We have a lot of good draws from this position. Aethersworn Sphinx, I think, counts. Blue, white, any color, green. Cascade. Sanctuary Raptor. Get a 4/4 flyer, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Arid Mesa. Nice. They got a fetch land. They get a Plains. Forgot the fetch lands were in this set. They go to combat, they attack for 2. No blocks. We untap. We draw Break Ties. So... go to combat. Attack for 4. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a land. They go to combat. They're swinging out. If I trade, the only thing that gets better for them is the Edict. I'm going to block here. And then opponent discards a creature, so they turn on Delirium. We are going to reinforce so that we trade. And if we draw an untapped land, then we can equip the Batterbone and we're fine. And our opponent is completely hellbent. We draw a Lens Flare. So go to combat, attack for 4. This has Eternalize, so I would rather it not die. And my opponent can pay for the Eternalize. Opponent plays a Squirrel Sanctuary. They get a Squirrel. So when my opponent attacks, we Lens Flare to kill Cabal Initiate. Opponent can pay 1 to pick up the Squirrel Sanctuary. We take 2. They don't replay Squirrel Sanctuary. We draw Dark Moss Bridge. Play the bridge, pass the turn. No attacks this time. They have Squirrel Sanctuary, 1 unknown. So we will block the Squirrel if they attack with it. I'm not going to block Timeless Witness. I don't think they have a single card that can do 6 damage. Although if they have removal that can kill Aethersworn Sphinx here, we're in trouble. Suit up the Sphinx with Batterbone. They don't have a Madness Enabler. Go to combat. It's like a Batterskull. It's got 5/5 lifelink and vigilance. And flying. Hit him for 5. Pass to our opponent. Opponent plays a land. They attack for 2. Yeah, no world do we block that. We untap. We draw an extruder. So I could play and equip the Vectis Gloves. Or I could play extruder and go all in and try and kill my opponent. But I don't think that's necessary. We'll attack for 5. Okay, now we'll play extruder. Pass the turn. That keeps us alive from damage-based removal. Opponent scoops. Whew! We were able to turn that around just in time. I don't think we make any adjustments knowing that my opponent is aggro. I think we just run it back. Alright, so opponent will be on the play this time. Alright, I will keep this hand. Opponent starts. They start by playing a tap land. Pass to us. We draw a tap land with more relevant colors, so lead on that one. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a forest. It looks like they mulliganed. We draw a Wave Sifter. Play a plains. We'll play an Ornithopter of Paradise. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a swamp. They're going to crack open the Ornithopter. We untap. We draw a Razor Tide Bridge, so play that. Play out the Vectis Gloves. Pass the turn. Next turn, we can play the Whale. Opponent plays a Goblin and Archomancer. We draw an island. How much does the Whale cost? 3. So play out the Drossforge Bridge. Play out the Whale. We can leave up Break Ties if they have a 4 damage spell of some kind, or a -4/-4 effect like World Weary. They play a Mountain. Terminal Agony. Alright, they kill our Whale. They go to combat, hit us for 2. We untap, draw Dark Moss Bridge. Play an island, play a Wave Sifter, investigate twice, pass the turn. Opponent terramorphs, they get a plains, and they play a forest. They're out of cards. They attack for 2. Yeah, I'm not making that trade. We untap, draw an island. So, equip here, play an island, we'll play Sanctuary Raptor, go to combat, hit them for 5. If they draw a 2 damage spell, we can Break Ties, reinforce to put a 1/1 counter on our guy. The Unholy Flames or whatever it's called. Can't remember the name of the shock. Alright, so opponent resolves Terramorph, gets a land. They draw... I kind of want to figure out how to draft the Storm deck in this format, because Red-Green's archetype is supposed to be Storm. Opponent attacks for 2. That's fine, we don't care. Take 2, go to 14. And opponent passes. We untap. We draw Zabaz, the Glimmer Wasp. Play Dark Moss Bridge. Yeah, we'll play out the Wasp. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent's got Unholy Heat, so... reinforce. We were prepared. Another opponent for 8, and the game is over. Nice! Alright, well, I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, round 2, we're on the play, and I will be keeping this. Seems like a pretty good affinity hand. We'll lead on Razortide Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent leads on Goldmire Bridge. We draw Arcbound Mouser. So play a forest, play Zabaz, play the Mouser, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. They play a Floodhound. We untap. Draw Break Ties. So play Power Depot. We have 4 artifacts. So Steelfin Whale costs 2. Or we can play Ornithopter of Paradise to get up to 5 artifacts. Let's play the Whale. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a mountain. They play a Storm God's Oracle. We untap. We draw Tanglepool Bridge. Play the bridge. Untap the Whale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Sojourner's Companion costs 2 and costs 1 if we play Ornithopter of Paradise. Go to combat. Attack with everybody. Opponent blocks and chumps. So let's reinforce here. Kill the Floodhound, hit them for 1. They're going to kill the Whale. Okay. Let's see, how much does this cost? 2? Alright. Yeah, let's play a 4/4. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. They strike it rich. And play Ethereum Spinner. We untap. We draw Lannis, Cryptozoologist. Oops. Play Lannis. Play Ornithopter. Investigate. Go to combat. Attack for 4. Opponent does not block. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land tapped. They cast an Arcbound Whelp, triggering Ethereum Spinner, getting a 1/1. We untap. We draw Vectis Gloves. So this is an artifact land, but does not have Indestructible. Alright, we have just enough mana to do this. So, destroy this. Modular to the Mouser? I guess I could have waited to do that at instant speed. Play the Vectis Gloves. And equip the Mouser. The question is, am I attacking with Sojourner's Companion as well? And I think the answer is yes. This equipment is so rude to put in a format where basically all duels are artifacts. So opponent chumps with their Thopter token. They untap. They play a land. They pass. We untap. We draw a Thornglint Bridge. So crack the clue and draw. Get an island. Play the bridge. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent, Mental Journey. They make a Thopter and draw 3 cards. So they can chump again, but they're taking 5 and going to 5. And they still don't have an answer to that creature. We have multiple different creatures we could equip those gloves to that would be lethal. Opponent plays a land, plays a Parcelmere. They sack Parcelmere to draw in desperation. And we got there. It's gloves. Who knew the keys to victory is putting gloves on a cat? That's just the rule of Modern Horizons 2. Yeah, no adjustments. We'll just run it back. I am tempted. We have all of our colors of mana. We have the gloves, and we have a Scrappling. This hand fails to single removal spell, and we have no sustain. I think I'm going to mulligan. We do have 6s that are better than that, and this might be one of them. So I'm going to keep. I'm going to put back an island. We do have to draw some colors of mana, but we do have the colors of mana to actually draw that. Opponent leads on Hard Evidence. We untap. We draw a Mirror Scrappling, so play Silver Bluff Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an island. We untap. Draw Forest. Perfect. Play a Forest. Play Lannis. Never, didn't always have it. Opponent has a counterspell. Alright. Well, that's sad, because that means the Sphinx is going to come down a lot slower. Opponent plays a Silver Bluff Bridge. We untap. We draw a Prophetic Titan. Play Mistvault Bridge. Play Mirror Scrappling. Pass the turn. And we're going to have to find white mana. Opponent cycles Mental Journey to get a mountain. They untap. They play a mountain. They play an Arcbound Tracker. They pass. We untap. We draw Drossforge Bridge. Play an island. Play Extruder. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. Rise and Shine. They're going to animate their Darksteel Bridge. That's pretty good. Or Silver Bluff Bridge, which is indestructible. We go to combat. We chump. Move a counter over here. We don't take any damage. Untap. We got to pay the Echo cost, though. Draw Dark Moss Bridge. Play the red land. Go to combat. Attack for 5. Opponent chumps. They're going to make an even bigger, more indestructible creature. So now it's a race. You know, I hadn't even thought about the fact that Rise and Shine could animate those lands when I was playing it the other day. The only thing I was like, animate clues because you can spam them. It seems like a lot better use of the resources, you know. Opponent attacks for 6. We take 6. Untap. We draw Sanctuary Raptor. So play Dark Moss Bridge. Play the Raptor. Go to combat. Attack for 5. Opponent chumps with Storm God's Oracle. They change their mind. They chump with the Crab. Okay. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. They play Burdened Aerialist, making a treasure token. They go to combat. They attack for 6. So we chump. Then we power up here. Okay. We untap. We draw Zabaz the Glimmerwasp. We're going to play Prophetic Titan. We have no way to get 2 more card types into the grave because we have no instants or sorceries. We could sack a land, but play Prophetic Titan. We are going to 4 damage here. Go to combat. Attack for 6. Opponent chumps. Oh, they can sack their treasure and then deal 3 damage. They didn't. They're going to shoot us in the face. Okay. I respect it. I would really like to draw planes. I think that would be pretty sick. Opponent plays another Burdened Aerialist. They're going to hit us for 6. We're going to go 5. We untap. We draw Break Ties, which we can't do anything with. So, play Zabaz. Go to combat. Attack for 10. We could do 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage. Not quite enough. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Nettle Cyst. Oh, and they're going to have enough mana to equip. And that's going to be 2 separate lethal creatures. Oh, but they can only equip if they sack their treasure? No, it's still going to be enough. Because they have an artifact land and a clue they wouldn't sack. Wow, they didn't equip. They would have had me dead there. I guess maybe they were playing around a combat trick of some kind. Opponent sacks for white, and sacks a clue. Not what I would have chosen to do, but okay. So go to combat and block. Okay, wait a minute. So I could, if I wanted to, put 1, 2, 3, 4 counters on it. That would only make it a 5/5. And I can't make this fly. I have to block or I lose. Okay. It really comes down to whether or not we draw white mana, I think. So modular here. Oh, we can put a 1/1 counter on any creature. It doesn't have to be an artifact creature. We untap. We draw a mountain. So I can put 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have sacked that. I should have sacked Zabaz to Extruder to put a 1/1 counter on Prophetic Titan. That way, when I attacked this turn, I could sack the rest of my artifacts, and it would be enough. But unfortunately, there's just nothing I can do. I can hope my opponent scoops. But we just didn't draw our colors and mana we needed. You know, if we'd drawn white mana at any point during that game, we'd have been fine. So moving on to game 3. And I'm not going to make any adjustments, we're just going to run it back. Alright, we'll play first. And this hand probably should work, so we're going to keep. We're going to start with Arcbound Mouser. We do need to draw lands, but that is eternally our problem, isn't it? Pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain. Strikes it rich. We untap. We draw an Extruder. Play a Mistvault Bridge. Think I'm going to just reinforce. Hit them for 2. Okay. Opponent goes to 18, we go to 22. They untap. Play an island. And do a Parcel Mirror. We untap. We draw Aethersworn Sphinx, which we will be able to play this game if we eventually draw more lands. Opponent plays a tap land, plays the Underworld Cookbook. They discard Goblin Trap Runner. We untap. We draw a Rust Veil Bridge, which is great. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can attack and force our opponent. Well, I don't want to Lens Flare that. It seems kind of like a waste. Untap, play an island. Hard Evidence. They make a crab and a clue. Then they Thought Monitor. They're going to draw some cards. That's pretty good. Then they play Nettle Cyst, which is also pretty good. Yeah, that's a 7/7. They attack, no blocks. We untap. We draw Drossforge Bridge. Play it. How much does the Sphinx cost now? 5? Play an Arcbound Tracker. Pass the turn. So the Sphinx currently costs 4. Opponent is going to discard an island to make a food and make the germ bigger. They untap. If they attack with the germ, we have to block with the tracker. They play a Parcel Mirror. Oh, they move over to Thought Monitor. Alright, well we're taking like all of our life and damage. We untap. We draw Sanctuary Raptor. I think we got a Hail Mary on this Sphinx. And I got rid of my only artifact destruction spell. Alright, Cascade. Something good. Ornithopter of Paradise. That's another chump blocker. Tracker gets bigger. Get the Sphinx. Go to combat. Attack with our Menace guy. Opponent tries to chump with just the crab, realizes it has Menace. Alright. No blockers. They take 3. Opponent plays Arcbound Whelp. They go to combat, attack for 12. Chump with Ornithopter of Paradise. They play a land. Then they pass. We untap, draw Dark Moss Bridge. Play the bridge. Play the extruder. So we're going to upgrade the Mouser by sacking the tracker. Go to combat. Attack for 6 with lifelink, and we will sack as many permanents as necessary to keep this alive. Opponent chumps with the crab. I could sack extruder here because I have another one. That gains me 1 more life. Is there much difference between 15 and 16? Hang on a minute. So assuming my opponent makes another artifact, they'll have a 13/13. I could sack this to make Aethersworn Sphinx big. I guess I don't have to do it now. I can wait and decide if I want to. We'll see how much my opponent plays out. They untap. They draw. Opponent flashes back, strike it rich. They're going to make 13/13 Thought Monitor. And they go to combat. They attack and attack. So I can sack the Mouser, put 7 counters here, which makes it an 11/11. Then I can go 12/12, 13/13, 14/14. I'd have to sack all but 2 lands and my extruder. I guess I'm going to go for it. Sack the Mouser and upgrade. I guess we'll move to blocks. Start sacking lands. We take 2. We have a 14/14 Sphinx. Alright, we untap. Extruder gonna sack itself. We can't pay the echo cost. We draw Silver Bluff Bridge. Play the bridge. So I can attack and my opponent can gain life off the food. They can equip here, and that gives them +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. An 11/11. So we actually have to hold back this Sphinx to block whatever they equip it to. And very quickly they're going to get enough foods from the Underworld Cookbook that they can just... Okay, or not. Well, maybe they just start converting stuff into food. They untap. They draw. They play an Arcbound Tracker, which has Menace. They go to combat. No attacks. Alright, we untap. We draw a Mere Scrapling. Play the Scrapling. Pass the turn. They sack a Parcel Mirror to draw a card. So each time they do this, their eventual Nettle Cyst equip gets a lot smaller. They play a land. They play Storm God's Oracle. They equip to the tracker to make it a 12/12. They go to combat. No attacks. We untap. We draw a Razortide Bridge. Play the bridge. Play the Raptor. If we can make it to Extruder, we might be able to win this. Alright, opponent has a counterspell. That actually probably means we're dead. Because they can use Storm God's Oracle to kill Mirror Scrappling and then swing past. Yeah, I think that's exactly lethal. Well, we tried. Unless my opponent miscounts or messes up, which is also possible. 6 mana, they play Mental Journey and draw cards. Not what I would have done this turn, but okay. They play Sojourner's Companion. They get a counter on Tracker. If we just had a way to get rid of this Arcbound Whelp, they discard an Arcbound Tracker, make a food. When it goes to combat, they pass. We untap. We draw an Ornithopter of Paradise. Play the Ornithopter. Pass the turn. When it untaps, they draw. They play a land. They play Vidalcan Infiltrator. Well, that will definitely end the game, because we can't block that at all. They're going to pick up their monitor. Crap. Yeah, we don't have a way out of this, which is really unfortunate. So block and block. Move the counter here. We have a creature big enough to kill them, but they have 2 blockers. And they can equip to a creature that can't be blocked next turn. Yep, we're just dead. That's kind of unfortunate. Pretty sure I messed up game 2. Well, I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, we'll be on the draw for round 3. And this hand is fine-ish. We don't have a way to play the whale. But other than that, it's okay. I'm going to keep. This whale probably should have been an artifact, but maybe it was too powerful from play design concerns. Pass the turn. I'm not going to cycle the Sojourner's Companion for a blue source. Seems a little superfluous. Sanctifier Envec. Protection from black and red. We draw Tormod's Cryptkeeper. Play a Rustvale Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Academy Manufacturer. We take 2, untap, draw Ornithopter of Paradise. So, play a Plains. Play the Ornithopter. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Jewel Eye Cobra. They're going to attack us for 2. We take 2, untap, draw Batterbone. So play a Forest. We have 1, 2, 3 artifacts. So I could play Tormod's Cryptkeeper to get it to 4, and then I could play the Steelfin Whale. I'm going to play the Batterbone because that blocks the Jewel-Eyed Cobra the best. And then we'll play the Steelfin Whale. Pass the turn, because that blocks the Sanctifier Envec just fine. Opponent plays a land and attacks for 3. Chump with the Phyrexian Germ token. They make a treasure, we gain 1. They play another Jewel-Eye Cobra. I mean, that's slightly annoying. They sack the treasure, smell fear. They're fighting the whale. Okay. We untap, draw Sanctuary Raptor. So play a Plains. 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. So play Cryptkeeper, then play Sojourner's Companion. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw. Play a land. They crack a clue to draw a card. And then they play an Urban Daggertooth. We untap. Draw Arcbound Mouser. I think we equip Batterbone here. Go to combat. Attack here and here. Opponent no blocks. Play a Mouser. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. Probably sacks a clue to draw. Okay. They play their own Batterbone. Then they pass. We untap. We draw an Extruder. Play Extruder. Go to combat. Attack here and here. Opponent chumps. Okay. They take 2 damage. We gain a bunch of life. Pass the turn. Crack a food to gain life. They untap. They play an Orchard Strider, which is a big creature. They make a ton of treasures and foods and clues because of Academy Manufacturer. Alright, we untap. Gotta pay the echo cost. Tapping like this in case I draw a Lens Flare. Okay, we draw a mountain. Play a mountain. Play a Sanctuary Raptor. Go to combat. And attack with Sojourner's Companion. Okay, opponent blocks with Orchard Strider. So we're gonna sack the Mouser. Counter it up. So it survives the hit. We gain a bunch of life. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw. They play a land. They sack a clue to draw. Sacking a treasure to hardcast a Soul of Migration. Okay. Make some birds. Then they pass. We untap. We draw Zabaz. Alright. So, play Zabaz. Play an extruder. Go to combat. Attack here and attack here. Okay, we're going to counter up Tormod's Crypt Keeper by sacking our Rainbow Land, which we modular. 2 counters because of Zabaz. Okay, gain a bunch of life. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw. They play a land. They sack a clue. They play Tireless Provisioner, which is pretty good with Academy Manufacturer. Cycle for a land. They get a Plains. And they pass. So I'm going to have this extruder power up Zabaz by sacking itself, because I don't want to pay the echo for it. And then I'll put another counter there by sacking the Ornithopter. We untap. We draw Break Ties. So I can actually Break Ties to kill the Academy Manufacturer, which is pretty sweet. Have Zabaz gain Flying. Go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent chumps the 7/7, and then they chump the 6/5. Okay. I'm going to destroy the Academy Manufacturer. So this way, they stop getting clues. They have a bunch of food, but we'll just... Alright. They play a land. They get a food, presumably. Yep. They play another Soul of Migration, hard cast. Alright. Opponent passes. We untap. We draw Slagwood's Bridge, so play it. Go to combat. Attack and attack. Opponent is going to try and block down the Crypt Keeper. They change their mind. They're just going to chump and chump. Okay. Gain a bunch of life. Pass the turn. Opponent gains life. They untap. They draw. How many 7-drops do they have? This is ridiculous. Opponent passes. We untap. We draw. Prophetic Titan, which we can't play because I sacked all of my blue mana like a genius. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent chumps and chumps. They gain life, we gain a bajillion life. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays a land, makes a food. Probably equips Batterbone. They forgot Batterbone existed. Alright. We untap. We draw Drossforge Bridge. Play the bridge. Go to combat. Attack, attack. We can kill both. So they have 7 toughness. So sack here. Sack here. We have 8 toughness. They only have... Or we have 7 toughness. They have 8 6 power, so this is fine. Opponent gains life, gains life. But, like, do they have a Wrath of God? Because if they do, I'm going to be a little upset if they were able to control to it. They can proliferate. Yeah, okay. Pass the turn. They're only like a swing from dead. I guess a couple of swings from dead. Opponent plays a Tireless Provisioner, equips Batterbone, and they pass. We untap. We draw Razor Tide Bridge, play it. Go to combat. Give Zabaz flying. Attack for 18. Opponent no blocks. They go to 7. We gain 18 life. They go to 10 because they gained life with food. Pass the turn. And opponent scoops. They fought it out to the very last. You gotta hand it to them. Alright, yeah, I think I just run it back. Alright, not a bad hand, we're gonna keep. We will be able to play Aethersworn Sphinx eventually. Opponent suspends a Rift Sower. Okay. So, lead on Slagwood's Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains. Plays Batterbone. We untap. Draw Lannis, Cryptozoologist. Play Razor Tide Bridge. Pass the turn. Rift Sower coming off Suspend. It'll have haste. Opponent plays a land. 4 mana for an Urban Daggertooth. They're going to hit us for 1. They gain 1, we lose 1. We untap and draw Mere Scrapling. So, play Mistvault Bridge. Play Cryptozoologist. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They go to combat. They attack for 4. No reason to block. Take 4, go to 15. Then they cycle Landscaper Kolos for a swamp. 3 mana, or 2 mana, they play Fairgrounds Patrol. We untap. We draw a Combine Chrysalis. So, play a Forest. How much does this cost? 6. Play a Mere Scrapling. Investigate. Aethersworn Sphinx now costs 4. And if I play Steelfen Whale for 1, I actually can't play the Sphinx. Okay. So then we play Arcbound Tracker. Investigate. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. They play a land. They go to combat. They attack and attack. So I think what we do is block, block, move the counter here. Okay, opponent has a trick. They're going to destroy our artifact. We can't modular onto anything. We take no damage. Opponent plays Sanctifier and Vec. We untap. Draw Lens Flare. Aethersworn Sphinx still costs 4. So white, blue, green, whatever. Cascade. Break Ties. Destroy target artifact. Batterbone. Get a 4/4. Investigate. Pass the turn. So next turn we can play Steelfin Whale and Combine Chrysalis. And we can start making beasts. Opponent attacks for 4 with Vigilance. And attacks with Fairgrounds Patrol. They change their mind. Pro Black and Red. They've got to have a combat trick. They don't attack like this otherwise, right? Alright, sure, let's see it. It's your last card in hand. Unbound Potential. Okay, so they could do both. So that's actually a trade. We take 6. Untap. Draw a mountain. Play a mountain. Play Combine Chrysalis. Play Vectis Gloves. Pass the turn. We're going to use Lens Flare to kill the Daggertooth. And if they attack with the Rift Sower, we block that. Oh, they have Proliferate! We're keeping the clues because we're going to turn them into beasts. I think this works out in such a way that... Yeah, because they proliferate twice. Oh, that's horrible. We're dead. What an amazing top deck. I can Lens Flare, but they got us. That was pretty good. Alright. Well, for game 3, I don't think we make any adjustments. I think we just run it back. We will be on the play this time, and I will be keeping this hand. So lead on Mistvault Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays a forest, passes. We draw Vectis Gloves, play a forest, play Lannis, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Batterbone. We untap, draw Steelfin Whale, play Power Depot. That costs 4. Yeah, I'm gonna evoke Wave Sifter. So make a bunch of clues. We lose Wave Sifter. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. They play a land. They play Academy Manufacturer. They go to combat. No attacks. They pass. We untap. We draw Arcbound Mouser. So play the Mouser, investigate. Play the Steelfin Whale, investigate. Pass the turn. So I could look at the top 5 cards of their deck and steal a 5 or less drop. But I could also just wait like another turn. I don't know what their biggest creature or card is, but hopefully we can steal something good. We're kind of past the point of needing Affinity, and while drawing extra cards would be great, this opponent plays a land. I think if they were to fight Lannis, we would try and take a non-land permanent from them. They go to combat, they pass, we untap, we draw an extruder, which would be hilariously awesome. Let's play Tormod's Crypt Keep. First, let's go to combat. Attack with Steelfin Whale. No blocks by the opponent. They take 3. They go to 17. So we'll play the Crypt Keeper. We untap the whale and investigate. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps and draws. I think 6 clues is enough for me to activate Lannis. They're going to attack us for 1. I'm not going to block that. They gain 1. They play a land. And they're going to play a Timeless Dragon. Okay. On their end step. I mean, if I draw a land, playing Extruder and then just making a huge creature is probably better. Alright, fine. We untap. We draw Ornithopter of Paradise, which counts, sort of. Play Ornithopter of Paradise. Make a clue. Untap the whale. Pass the turn. Yeah, if we draw a land, I'm making the biggest mouser ever seen. Opponent plays a land. They go to combat. Block like this. Okay, they lose the germ. Then they play Funnel Web Recluse. They get a clue. Alright, well they get 1 of each. We untap. We draw. Mountain. Play a mountain. Play Extruder. Investigate. Untap the whale. How many artifacts do I have now? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent blocks. So let's put 2 counters on Tormod's Crypt Keeper, and 6 counters on the Mouser. Alright, pass the turn. Go up to 21, opponent goes down to 12. Pass to our opponent. And if they play an artifact tap land, it's game over. Because of Vectus Gloves. So Rift Sower is on suspend until next turn. Opponent is going to Piercing Raise. So Extruder. Should we power up the Ornithopter? That might be fun. Sack the Mouser. Modular the Ornithopter. I am become Paradise, Thopter of Worlds. Opponent cycles for a land. They get a swamp. Watch them have more removal. Fairgrounds Patrol, you got it. Alright. Opponent passes. Untap. Pay the Echo cost. Draw Rustvale Bridge, which is nice. Play the bridge. Untap the whale. Go to combat. Attack for 8 in the air. Opponent takes 8, goes to 4. They sack the food to gain life and go to 7. They untap. Rift Sower coming off suspend. So, like, my opponent's best play, I think, is to equip Timeless Dragon with Batterbone and swing. We can't stop them from gaining life. Hopefully they didn't draw, like, another Piercing Raise. Okay, opponent equips Batterbone to Timeless Dragon. They will be able to Eternalize it, but that actually makes it smaller, because Eternalize is templated to make it a 4/4. So they can hold off for a while, and buy themselves quite a bit of time to find an answer. I could sack Tormod's Crypt Keeper to take that away from them, but that's one of our bigger creatures. We draw Dark Moss Bridge, play the bridge, untap Steelfin Whale, play the Sanctuary Raptor, get a clue, go to combat, attack for 8. Opponent doesn't block. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? Do I just go for it? I think I do. Do they have a fog? Because that would be bad. I miscounted. Oh, they have something else. Break ties. They're going to destroy the artifact. That's pretty good, I guess. I'm glad I miscounted. So power up the Crypt Keeper, because I can't save it. Break ties fizzles. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. They sack a clue. Oh my god. I don't think I can win within the time limit. I think I'm favored, but I don't think I can win. This opponent goes to combat. Attacks for 6 in the air with lifelink. We take it. Untap. Draw Razortide Bridge. Play the bridge. Play Vectus Gloves. Doesn't really matter what we put them on. I guess we put them on the Raptor. Pass the turn. I can't believe they cracked a clue and top-decked that artifact removal. I miscounted, so they were going to get a hit in, but, like, that was ridiculous. Can I get this raptor big enough to block that dragon? When it goes to combat, I would have to sack 6 artifacts. If I sack the gloves, I actually can. But that's, like, every artifact I have. And then I'm just going to be dead on board. I've got to get, I got to draw something. If I get something that generates clues, maybe I can do it. But that dragon sucks. I should have put that counter on the raptor instead of the Crypt Keeper like I did. I'm never going to win on time. Top deck and the Naturalize. So, what did we learn this game? If you have a Naturalize, if it's got a marginal upside, if you have a Naturalize effect, you should be playing at least one in your main deck at all times. Yeah, I can't win in the time provided, so... They got us. That was really close. That was easily a 3-0 deck. We got a little bit unlucky, but hey, hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few times have been earlier than that. And, yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I've been really enjoying playing Modern Horizons 2 drafts. It's a really, really fun format. I highly recommend anybody who has the opportunity to do so, take the opportunity and do it at least once. I know it's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it is a lot of fun, and it's not something you can do on Arena. So if you get the opportunity to play in real life, if you're vaccinated, if it's available near you, I highly recommend it. Everybody kind of wants to socialize nowadays anyway, because we've all been stuck inside for so long. But if not, if you got Moto, I recommend trying it at least once. The Phantom Drafts are... Oh, goodness. Porter shook his head and knocked the little camera off my desk. Yeah. But, not sure what happened. Anyway, if you do a Phantom event, it's only $10, I think. You don't get to keep the cards, but you do get to win play points, which you can use to enter more Phantom events. And eventually, if you win enough of them, you can do an actual event and collect the cards if you want, but... Anyway, that's all I have time for tonight, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of June. If you want to have your name show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description below. Thank you all.